Five in the Dugout is sponsored by Woods Basement Systems.
Mike Claiborne joins us now. First, a little bit of news. Quinn Matthews sent down. I thought that was a little early. Did that surprise you? And how quickly do you think we'll see the young lefty again?
I don't think it was surprising. I think they didn't want to tempt themselves to have him come out there too much. And, you know, the other thing, he's not on a 40-man roster, so you have to move some people before you do that. But overall, you know, he had 2 innings against a good team in Toronto. So you have to feel like, you know, this is a situation that you're going to monitor, but they just need him to pitch. He has to learn how to pitch through things. He has to learn how to pitch through trouble. He has to learn how to pitch when he doesn't have his best stuff. And I think it's a good thing. And they may bring him back to throw. I mean, just because he's in the minors doesn't mean he can't come back and throw in the minor in the exhibition games. So it's one of those things. I think they just want to make sure they don't tempt themselves because they have some other people they have to make a decision on.
I thought John Mozeliak had a real interesting line on KMOX radio the other day. He said his situation is like threading the needle, having to cut payroll, but at the same time, keeping the fans engaged. Your reaction?
I don't think there's any doubt about it. And if you think of all the years John Mozeliak has been at the helm of this thing, this is new territory for him. Threading the needle and also being competitive because he's always had a healthy payroll. He's always had marquee players that he's been able to build around. This is a situation where the marquee players are very young, if they are marquee players. You have Nolan Arenado. That situation hasn't decided itself yet. So this is uncharted territory, not only for John Mozeliak, the organization, but certainly Cardinal fans.
Nolan Gorman off to a really rough start, really early, but a quick take from you on this.
You know, all the things we've heard and talking to him, you know, you kind of felt like, okay, this is it. You got things figured out. It's not mental. It's the same thing. I mean, it's in the first week. And granted, it is the first week. And one of the things we have to think about here is most of these hitters in the offseason are hitting in a batting cage. They're not facing live pitching for the most part. They're not facing big league pitching. They're not facing breaking balls like they're going to see coming out of the hands of some of these major league pitchers. And once you start to get used to that and just seeing where their arm slot is and things of that nature, it may take some people a little longer than others. But when you do that, you have to make sure you stay within your habits, stay within your zone, don't fall into bad habits, don't give at bats away.
On the other end of the spectrum, although it's early, Victor Scott really hitting and hitting for power too. And Mike, if this continues and he really does have this great spring, do they simply say, okay, Lars Nootbaar, you stay in left because we have our center fielder?
Great question, because they could also say, you know, we saw this last year in the spring. So it's one of those things for Victor Scott. You can see he's a different player. There's no question about it. His swing is different. His defensive approach is different. And he just seems like he's a much mature person as far as baseball is concerned. Now, the question is Michael Ciani, who's had an okay spring, although he struggled at the plate. His defense has been solid. Maybe doesn't throw as well as you would hope for him to as a center fielder. At least he hasn't had as many opportunities. But I think that's going to be the interesting battle. Can you carry 2 left-handed hitting or really 3 left-handed hitting center fielders?
So right now, do they view Lars Nootbaar as a potential center fielder because Arenado's there and Donovan is going to be in left?
I think that's up for grabs right now. I think that you have versatility where we've seen Victor Scott play a little bit more left field. We've only seen Ciani play center field. So I think really what they might have to do is shake that up again and think about how this is going to look against certain pitchers. I think there's some nights you're going to trade offense for defense. There are other nights you're going to have to try and get as many bats in the lineup as you can. And then you hope you can hold on defensively later in the game because you have 3 legitimately good defensive outfielders. So it's something I think we'll see case by case. I don't think most managers would like to manage that way, but Ali Marmol may not have a choice.
Let me get back to Scott, and I'm probably not objective because he's such a good guy and so engaging. But Mike, if he does put it all together, this is something we haven't seen in a long time.
Yeah, there's no question about it, Frank. We haven't seen something like Victor Scott since Vince Coleman, plain and simple. The ability to get on base, the ability to steal second, the ability to steal third, and defensively, he's a much better outfielder than Vince Coleman was. And that's not taking anything away from Vince, but he can cover. He can cover. He can go back. He does a lot of things, and he's still raw. He and John Jay have worked out so much together. They probably know what each other had for breakfast that day just by talking to him. I mean, it's a very good relationship they've been able to establish and certainly build on what Willie McGee was able to pass on.
What do you mean when you tell me that Jordan Walker is settling in with his swing?
Jordan Walker is a lot more quiet in the box. He's not as open with his stance. His hands are closer, and he's not guessing as much. He's looking for certain pitches that he thinks that he can handle, and the pitches that he doesn't think that's a strike, he lays off of them. Last year, he chased a lot of pitches. This year, we're seeing him hit with more authority. He hit 3 balls on Sunday. There were just rockets. One, he pinned a left fielder to the wall. The wind kept it in the ballpark. The other 2 were long, hard outs, but he's making solid line drive contact, and that's something he wasn't doing last season.
So we've maybe losing a left-handed pitcher, Zach Thompson, who at times pitched well for the Cardinals. What's the story there?
Very unfortunate, Frank. It's a lat injury, a lat strain, and we know how that can be. You can have a lat strain in April, and the next time we see you, it's Mother's Day. So you have to be careful here with this. The unfortunate thing about Zach Thompson is the fact he was a former first-round pick out of Kentucky. He's now 27 years old and really doesn't have a spot. We don't know whether he's a starter. We don't know if he's a reliever. Some days he throws 96. Some days he throws 91. It's just all over the place. And to have an injury this early in the spring is going to be a major setback for him. And let's hope he can turn it around, because we've seen this act before where young guys have had injuries early in their career, and for some reason they just don't rebound to the point of the expectation that you have for them, hence the reason why you draft them so high.